Well, hello there, this is Michael from Make It WordPress, and today I'm looking into SpinupWP or SpinupWordpress. And first, I will explain what it is. I will do a small walkthrough to go through the most important features, and also will discuss how I like it. So, what is SpinupWP? It is a server control panel, and which you can use to quickly host WordPress websites. So basically, you have to buy your own server, in most cases a virtual private server, somewhere on the internet, connect to SpinupWP, and you can easily spin up WordPress websites. And these WordPress websites are optimized for performance, safety, and much more out of the box. Also, SpinupWP has some extra features, such as connections to a Git repository and backups, but we'll look into that right now. So this is the SpinupWP website, and we'll just sign in here. And there we are. This is the dashboard of SpinupWP, and well, I have tested it before, but all my servers have been deleted, so let's add a new server again. That can easily be done by clicking the button, and out of the box, SpinupWP supports DigitalOcean. I also tested it with Upcloud, Vultr, and Linode, and they are also supported. But you manually have to add SpinupWP to them. And DigitalOcean is one of the most well-known VPS or virtual private server providers out there, and you can buy a server from them starting at $5 a month. And with these $5 a month, you can actually host a couple of WordPress websites in a quite performant way if you use SpinupWP. So let's go ahead and add a new server. We'll just call it a name, and in here, when you're using DigitalOcean, and the good thing is that I have hints on several places in their dashboard. They have hints on here, and actually it says the steps you need to do to get your token. And actually you can get your token from the DigitalOcean website. Well, this is the DigitalOcean website. If you're logged in and you go to the API screen, there you can generate an API token. I'll use my existing one. So I will be going back to the SpinupWP dashboard now. Let's spin up a new DigitalOcean server. I'll just add my API key and go to the next thing. There we are, we have a connection. I will choose a server location close to most of my visitors. The good thing is that you also can enable backups, server backups from DigitalOcean. I won't do it for now. And let's go to the next. You can put in anything you like here, as long as it makes you help remembering which kind of server it is. And at last, SpinupWP will install a default database server and default database access password, as you can show here. So these are the things you have to enter before a server setup. So now we can just hit the provision server button, and there we are. The server is going to spin up. And we have to wait a couple of minutes. And there we are. Again, the server is ready, and you will arrive at the following screen where you will have the details for your server, such as the IP address, the provider, the size, and support. You can do some basic server actions in here. You can see the databases, add a user for server administration actions, which is quite useful if you're a server administrator or a professional developer. It's also good that the SSH access for the root on servers is disabled, and at last there are some service for some settings for the server. And here you can also disconnect or delete the server. So let's go back to the Sites tab and create our new WordPress website. We can also migrate an existing site, and I tried the wizard, and actually what it does is the same as the create a new site. It only gives some tips how to migrate. You still have to do this manually, so it isn't that much of an addition. So we'll just click create a new site, and we'll be hosting on the following domain, which will be primary domain, and also enable the HTTPS. So, well, you will have to make sure that your DNS, so your domain, is pointing to the IP address of the server, especially if you want to have an SSL certificate. And I already pointed my domain to the right IP address, so that's an important step if you want to access your website. If you're not sure how to do this, you have to contact your domain register, so the company where you registered your domains. But we can continue now. And the website will load. And we'll see also that the DNS has been verified. Let's go to the next step. So it's quite interesting that you can also choose, while this is a platform WordPress, to don't install any files or clone from a Git repository. So maybe we're developing a WordPress site and we already have all the files on a Git repository, then we can click on this tab and fill in all necessary details. So the WordPress installation will be a clone from that repo. That's actually a great feature. But we will just install WordPress manually in this way. It's an example site. We use just some example data and some password. All great. And there we are. You can click next. So you can also choose the name of our database. It's not so interesting, I think, only if you want to remember what database belongs to what WordPress install. One thing that I have to say is that SpinupWP doesn't come with an interface to manage your databases. No PHP admin or something else, no file manager. So you will have to manually connect to your server or to your website's database to be able to edit it. And there are some programs for that, but I won't go into detail, but it makes it just one little more difficult to manage your databases. So let's go on to the next step. We can also choose our PHP version. We'll choose the latest one and enable the full page cache. What really nice is that SpinupWP already set up the right software and services for caching, and it makes it actually quite performant platform. You don't even have to install a caching plugin on your website, as they have their own mechanisms for that, and that is, I think, a great setup. So let's confirm this installation and add the website, and we have to wait again. There will be a nice console showing what is happening. So, and our new site is almost created. And there we are, our new site is created. In here you can see in a similar fashion as the server screen all the important settings for this new site. You see the site user, the server, IP address. You can purge the cache. Also, some settings for HTTPS are here. The settings to access this website over SSH or SFTP here, and at last, backups. So I'll just go back and we are going to view the admin of our website. And we just log in. And there we are. We have our WordPress website host.makewordpress.com that is running using SpinupWP. And that's just a regular WordPress website, as you can see, with all the basic details, which you would have if you would install a new WordPress website. One thing which is interesting is that they, by default, install two plugins, the SpinupWP plugin, and this actually regulates all the caching. So they provide caching over fast CGI for Nginx and also Redis object caching. And this plugin makes sure that if you add a new post or page, the caches are purged. So what it actually means is when you have caching, the server makes some kind of copy of an existing page. So each time a visitor visits your website, it doesn't have to regenerate the whole page again, but can just serve that copy, and that saves server resources and also allows you to load pages much faster. If you want to have new content, and if you add new content, you want to have this resembled or displayed on the website, and that is actually done by the purging of caches. And also there's a plugin, limit login attempts reloaded here, which gives some safety on the login level. So let's go back to the panel of SpinupWP. And there we are again. We're back at the panel. As you can see, there are not so many options and settings within the SpinupWP platform, but there is an option for backups. There is, for example, no option for staging, an easy staging environment, and other kinds of things. Something we actually miss. Also custom interface for Git deployment and other things would be really nice, but let's go ahead with the backups. And you need a storage provider actually to have backups. And they provide 3 storage providers. And one of them is DigitalOcean Spaces, which is quite cost-effective storage provider. And let's add it. Let's select it here. We just call it give it a name and then enter all our details for it and add the storage provider. So we can select region, give it a name, retention period, and they do daily database backups and daily file backups. You can even select some paths to exclude and save it. Backup settings. There we are. Now we were able to backup this website. We can also backup directly. And now a backup is performed. This will take some time. So let's go back to the basic settings tab. I didn't show you some other settings for a website. Of course, you can delete a website, but there are also some options for basic authentication. So you can have a pop-up with a password before your website. And so outside visitors cannot see the website. Pretty useful if you're developing a website, for example. And our backup is still underway. Let's go to some other things. Well, obviously, they have a support department, and you can only reach them by email for bugs and issues related to the platform. So the support is not that extended. There is some documentation on using the platform. It describes most of the things. If you are on a higher plan, you can also use the team manager and add users. And these users have various levels of access to servers or even websites. That is actually pretty useful features. But for this, you will need a higher paying plan, which starts with discounts from 39 bucks a month. And obviously, there is an affiliate or referral program that they use, and you can change your billing details and obviously some settings for your account. So the Avatar two-factor authentication can be enabled in here. You can add default server providers and storage providers. Also add SSH keys, which you can use to connect to your service. Also see the servers that were disconnected before and the Teams feature I talked about before. And we will be just going back to the dashboard and then to our sites in here. And you can also see that it has page cache enabled, HTTPS enabled, and backups enabled. Let's go to this website. Go to the backup screen, and we did have a backup. So it's pretty nice that they have backups. And what I did find a little confusing is how to restore these backups. The only thing is that these backups are available on the backups from the provider, but there is still not a clear interface to actually store these backups also on demand. Also something to improve. So basically, these are the most important features from SpinupWP. So I think the interface is looking great. It works pretty nice. It's quite fast. It's not always logical to switch between servers and sites, because the menu on the left also changes depending on the context where you are. So now I'm at the server context and now I'm at the site context. I find it a little bit confusing, and if I go to my account, this will be the menu for my account, and I have to go back to dashboard and then again to the site, but still it's looking pretty neat. So I tested SpinupWP with Loader.io and some of the common load testing platforms, and it's actually performing quite well. This digital Ocean 5-bug server with caching on can handle over a thousand of concurrent visitors at the same time, and that's actually a lot. And it's also pretty fast for uncached pages. So that's a big plus. But I find one big con is that while the platform looks really nice, I miss a lot of essential features, such as restoring backups, staging environment. It feels just like it's still not finished. It has the most essential things to run awesomely fast WordPress websites, but if you want to go in a more advanced way, you miss some features. That having said, it's a great promising platform and I'm looking forward to new features. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate to leave them.